As we came on the air last night, Russia had just started its invasion of Ukraine, and tonight the invasion has become a war. Good evening, I'm Greg Wormuth.
And I'm Martha Sigalski. Dozens of Ukraine citizens are dead as Russian forces have attacked on several sides. Let's get you caught up on what's happening right now in the region. Russian forces have seized Chernobyl, the site of the worst nuclear disaster in history. Scores of people in Ukraine are fleeing the country as we speak, as neighboring nations such as Poland waive restrictions and welcome those families. Ukraine's government is begging for help. Russian President Vladimir Putin delivering another message threatening any country who interferes with, quote, consequences you have never seen. President Biden gave his own address today as American troops are staying out of this battle.
Our forces are not and will not be engaged in the conflict with Russia in Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight in Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies and reassure those allies in the East.
In major cities across America and the world, people rallied and marched in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. Crowds in Moscow tried to protest the war, but more than 1,000 have been arrested.
Central Floridians are heartbroken and angry at the images coming out of Ukraine tonight, none more so than those with strong connections to that country. Nick Pampantonis continues our coverage live from Lake Eola, where they stood in solidarity tonight. Nick?
And those emotions bringing several different groups together as one right here on this very lawn. This is all symbolism, of course, but it's the same symbolism that turns this city purple, this country red, white, and blue, and tonight, the world blue and yellow. A song for Ukraine in the heart of Central Florida, rising from one of a number of demonstrations around the world Thursday night. A song for the victims, for the sheltering, and for the hope that an outmatched country can repel a powerful bully invading its borders.
We need to do something. I want to do something, so this is why I'm here.
When you learned your friends were going to battle, how did you feel?
Oh, actually, I'm not sleeping since 6 a.m. yesterday.
For these people, watching a country they call a second home turning to ash is almost too much.
I'm mad. There's no justifiable excuse in the world for what's happening in Ukraine right now.
This is the Ukraine Mission 823 Shawn Sullivan left a few weeks ago. Soldiers and humanitarians caring for kids and displaced towns as an uneasiness settled over the country. Some of the chaplains you see here spending Thursday giving funeral rites to the dead.
After so much progress towards freedom and independence and prosperity and self-sufficiency, all of those things are moving in the right direction. And then overnight to see them change so drastically is just absolutely ripping our hearts out.
How many people have you taken on overnight?
Just overnight in one facility, 50. And they're still coming.
Sullivan says every contact he called Thursday spoke of explosions and missiles passing overhead. He spoke of a looming humanitarian crisis, 13 million people without items they'll need to survive. He sympathized with Russians who are watching their country's leadership go off the rails. And he says Ukraine's government may fall, but long-term, Russia will not be able to maintain control.
They're fueled by blood and the fire in their blood for their own nation, and he's fueled by the gas pump that's behind him. And so I think he'll realize that he's bitten off a lot more than he wants to chew in this fight.
It's a fight ringing out half a world away. But even here in Central Florida, the tensions and the unknown bubbling just under the surface.
I don't know why. It's war. It's I don't know, it's Central Europe. I don't know why.
It's hard to imagine.
Putin, it's crazy.
So, Nick, last time you talked to the missionary, he told you he planned on going back. That was before the invasion. So what is he telling you now?
He's hoping at this point to wait until the fighting stops, but he still has his team on the ground. He still has a lot of people, including children, to serve. And he says if he's called to do and to go into that country, even through sneaking through a border, he will do so. Live in Orlando, Nick Pampantonis, WFTV Tonight.